So today's video will be about market tips that I've learned in the last, well, just over a year that I've been doing markets. So I remember before I started, I've been watching loads of videos myself as well about how to just be prepared really. Yeah, I don't like the unknown very much. I like to prepare as much as possible, and some of you might be starting as well your markets, or maybe you're even doing some markets but you could use some more tips. Yeah, so I'd like to share those with you of what I've learned so far. The first one is a good gazebo. So I know it's really hard just when you're starting out to spend a lot of money on a gazebo, but it's just so worthwhile doing. You don't want your gazebo to fly away and cause a lot of destruction, or even fly into people. That'll be even worse. So personally, I like to have weights on my gazebo as well. So the cheaper kind of gazebo that you can't always put weights on them, I suppose you could put like the sandbags around them, but yeah, I do like to have proper feet rather than just backing them in. I have a commercial gazebo. It's a compact version from Surf Turf, I believe it is. I think the website is surfturf.co.uk, although I did buy it through a different website. I can't really remember which it was, but yeah, it's a Surf Turf compact Cano Pro gazebo. It has 4 walls, so it has, on each side it has a window, but most of the time I have them closed anyway. Then at the back I have a full wall, although you could, yeah, full wall. And then at the front, if you would use it, there's one with the zip in the middle, which I don't really use, but I suppose if you're leaving things overnight, it's good to have that fourth wall as well. I can definitely recommend walls, because you kind of, when people come into your booth, they're not get distracted by the rest of the market. They're just in your little shop area. They don't see other products while they're looking at yours, and they might just go away. The focus is on your products. Talking about the gazebo, do get a good one and have insurance as well. One of the reasons I also got a good gazebo, which has costed quite a lot of money to be fair, is I just like to do things right. So when I read the insurance, what you're covered for, it does say that you need a good gazebo with substantial weight on it. So I have weights, like cast iron weights. I've got 4 of them, although I might add some more, and I might add some guide rails as well for really windy situations. Although you do have to be careful with ropes, the ropes at the side, like the tent ropes. You do not want people to fall over it. Like I have had like neighbors on the markets that position the tents and the ropes, so if they will come into my booth they might trip over them. So I always put mine a little bit more to the front, so people don't trip over their ropes. You do really have to be careful about that, because you are liable for any incidents that happen. Yeah, so do make sure you get a proper gazebo, not just a gazebo that you pop in your garden. If you can, invest some good money into it, and it will last you for years to come. Although I do hope that, because I'm 1 year in. It looks really good so far. I'm really pleased with mine. So I do hope it's gonna last me for a very long time to come. 2, clear pricing. I don't price all my items like separately on the actual item. I do have little signs everywhere that is just very clear, like 1 for 6, 2 for 10, that kind of thing. And I laminate them as well, so they're waterproof. I actually had, my last market, I did have a few new signs that I did not laminate, and it was raining and it did smudge, and I really don't like that. So do laminate yours, and keep it easy. Don't go into pennies like £10.50 or £10.49, or it doesn't, yeah, it's not easy to calculate these things. So I've got most things like £4, £10, £6. Got a few tiny little clips that are 50p, so I always have some 50p change in my cash box as well. Yeah, but keep it nice and simple, and make sure it gets seen as well, so people don't always like to ask for what things cost. So it's nice just people know what to expect. Although you always have people that do ask, even though you got all these signs up, they do ask. Card reader, I definitely can recommend a card reader. So I use the square card reader, which I can really recommend. So it's just a little square basically, so you can put your card in here if needed, but most of the time you can just tap it. On the occasion that sometimes it doesn't work, you can insert the card and they can do their PIN code on your phone. They can type it in on your phone and it will all go through. Yeah, I can definitely recommend these. So this, I got it for £16 I think, and then you pay about, oh, how much is the fee? So 1.7%. It isn't a lot, and I think 50% of almost every market I sell at, about 50% pays by card, so it's definitely worth an investment. It also comes with some signs and got some stickers as well. Put some stickers on my tent, on the inside of my window, so people can see that I accept card payments. So that's really useful. So it just comes in a little box and you charge it by USB, and to check if it still has battery, you just click a button, and this one is fully charged, it's full, and it lasts a very long time. I could probably do a few days on one charge, but it's always worthwhile having a battery pack with you just in case, like special chargey thing, I don't know what it's called, especially if you do a few days in a row, or just take it home and charge it. It doesn't take long to charge at all. I know a lot of market store holders also use the sum up, so that's also a good one to go for, and I think that's the Zettel as well. Yeah, I can definitely recommend the square. Cash box. I do recommend taking cash with you as well, because just like 50% pay by card, you still got people that like to use their cash as well, or some people don't realise that you do accept card, so they take cash with them, which is absolutely fine. Some people also think it costs a lot to for store holders to use the card, which I don't really mind too much. It is cheaper to deposit my cash in the bank account. You do pay a fee for that as well. I think every £100 I pay a few pounds, I think. So for my cash box, I just have a little bum bag. There's a few pockets, so I use this one to put my notes, and then I've got here got the coins. So I mainly have pound coins in there and 50p's, and maybe a few £5 notes or tenner. Yeah, but especially the pound coins. Yeah, they're very useful. Yeah, do always keep it on you, especially when you leave your booth. Do take it with you if you have to go away for a bit. Yeah, don't leave anything like that laying around. I also would recommend a bum bag, or like a market, what is it, like apron thingy you could put your cash in, rather than a cash box, because the cash box is like yeah, it's so much more obvious that you have cash in there. So just to keep yourself safe, do like a baggy kind of thing that you can keep with you. Actually, the cash box is actually quite hard to take with you. And also when you come back home, do not leave it in the car. If you not feel like unpacking the car, take it with you inside. Pencil case. So I always have a pencil case with me. Look how cute. Yeah, so I have scissors in there. Got some pens. So I write in like a notebook about what I've been selling, so I can keep an eye on stock levels, and I can then compare that with my square about how much I've got in, so I can count everything up, can see how much I have to put deposit into my bank account and how much was card payment. Anyway, I've got like a Sharpie in case I need to make some last minute signs, so I always take some paper card with me as well. Some masking tape, got some sticky tape normally as well, more pens, have one of these little knifey things. Sometimes I make for the bowls, I just do thank you cards and I cut them in a bit so I can put the bowl in. Yeah, just random things really. It's just always good to have something with you. I always have like antibacterial gel with me as well, and tissues. Yeah, just things you don't want to be without, or maybe even baby wipes as well, in case people have sticky hands. They might need something to, you know, clean their hands with before they touch your product, and it's quite good for yourself as well, I suppose. A mirror. So I always take a mirror with me. So I have a little mirror, although actually I need to get it back for my daughter because she nicked it. I always have a mirror with me. I have a market basket which I put a lot of stuff in, so including my little mirror, and then I always have a big mirror with me as well, especially if it's in the gazebo, I have more extra space, because I sell headbands, and in the winter I also sell ear warmers, so people like to try them on and have a little see how it fits, and most people that try it on, they do buy it as well, so it's really good to have a mirror with you. Actually, even for the scrunchies, some people just like to hold it against, or sometimes they just try them on as well, and it does make it's really good selling thing to have a mirror with you. Tablecloths. Definitely have some tablecloths. So I know the stretchy ones are very popular to go over the 6-foot tables. The only drawback from that is that because it goes a bit like that at the bottom, you do see your boxes underneath, and I think it's also quite hard to put the boxes underneath, so you can't just get it in and out. So what I use is just, for the 6-foot tables, I use 3 meters of length of cotton fabric, white cotton fabric. I drape, so it's the full width of the fabric, I drape it all the way to the front, and it just about covers the table, and I clamp it to the sides, which I use these clamps for. They're not very wide, but they clamp in the middle part of the table leg, so I kind of just secure the tablecloth like that, so people do not trip. You definitely have to be careful with that, because I've seen at some markets that people just loosely drape it and it goes all over the floor and it gets longer and longer and people trip over it, so do be careful with that as well. So do secure your tablecloths one way or another. Yeah, so my fabrics was, I think it was about £4 a metre, so about £12 for each tablecloth. I got about 3 so far. Yeah, so it's really easy to hide things underneath it. I can definitely recommend that, and this is a nice easy way of making tablecloths, and it's yeah, quick washable, so yeah, it's perfect. Business cards and hanging sign. So definitely take some business cards with you. People always ask for them. I did have a sign with a QR code, but people didn't really bother, so I'm still doing my business cards. I lay them in a few different areas of the tables, and they always go quite fast, to be honest. People like looking you up later on in their own time. Yeah, I also put thank you cards in each bag. So I've got these paper bags, and so I have these paper bags. So I put a little sticker on there, and the thank you card, so they can look you up. So that, yeah, so they can look you up, and yeah, just to keep you branding just like you would do with online orders, because you do want them to come back. So a hanging sign. So I have a big hang sign, like a banner, at the back of my gazebo, which is very, yeah, it just keeps your branding all together again. Keeps everything consistent, and yeah, it looks so much more professional. The other week I actually lost my banner. For the first time I actually hung it like an inside venue. I've never done that before. This time we could hang it. Yeah, we forgot to pack it in, even though I had a look, my husband had a look, and I had another look. We still forgot it. So do make sure you check everywhere that you've got your sign. Yeah, so I did a few markets without my sign, and it just didn't feel right. It was just such a big empty white space behind me. So yeah, I definitely like to have my sign, and now I've got it back, it just looks so much better. Paper bag, so it's just like I just showed you. I just have like I have two different bags. I have the like a cheaper like lunchy bags, paper bags. I don't like using plastic bags. Yeah, I just don't want to add to the overload of plastics out there already. So just like with online orders, I just like to stick to paper. So I've got paper little lunch bags, and it just doesn't cost a lot at all. I get about, what is it? I get 500 for about £5 or so. I can't really remember. But I buy them in bulk. I think I get them through eBay. And yeah, I put some thermal stickers on there, although I might also start using like a stamp on it, because that might be even cheaper to do. Although I do want it to be waterproof. That's something to look into, because I don't want to have it smudged when it starts raining. And I also have the bigger bags, the little these kind of bags, especially put like when people order lots of things in one go, or well, not order, when people purchased quite a few scrunchies and hair cloths and things like that, and also in the winter for like ear warmers I put in here as well. So it's just a bit more for more expensive purchases, because these are more expensive to buy in rather than the lunch bags. So I do recommend having some sort of branding on there, so people walking around, they recognise your brand and they might check you out and wonder what all the fuss is about. So study tables and product stands or product displays. Definitely recommend some good study tables. I have like the commercial kind of, what is it, heavy duty tables. There's most market stall holders use. They're very easy to flat pack and to pop in your car. I've got about 3 of them. I've got two 6-foot tables, and I've got one 4-foot, although I might get another 5-foot as well. Just makes it a little bit easier, especially if I do different venues, especially inside ones, so I have a bit of yeah, see what works for me in that space. Yes, and product displays. So it's really good to create some height, so it's like inviting for people to come over and they can glance over your products and see what you're selling, to see if it's worthwhile coming in there or not. If everything is flat out, and they might just go past, because yeah, so if everything is just flat and they can't really see anything, they might not think it's worthwhile coming in for, because you know, most people kind of like they want to be invited to come somewhere and being worthwhile coming in. One of those people, if I don't like what I'm saying, I would just walk past, which is a bit rude, I suppose. But it's about a confidence thing, I suppose. You just shy away from things, yeah, shy away from feeling awkward and having to buy something. So I like to create height. So I have my table, now I have my scrunchy stands, and I have my like a round, it's like a display, cake display thing I've got. I'm also thinking about making a stand-alone scrunchie board, which I've been planning for the last half a year, but still hasn't happened. But yeah, definitely create height. I think another thing I want to get is like those 3 or 4 tier shelfy things to put like my ear warmers on, or I see a lot of people that sell like their cups. They often have the shelfy thing as well, which you can really see the difference between those people that have that tier shelves and people that sell those cups with, you know, the vinyl stuck on and things. Some people just have it spread out on the table, it just doesn't look as inviting, and when you have to create that height, people just instantly see what you sell and it just invites them more. So yeah, definitely recommend doing that. So do always make sure you check the weather. Obviously, dress accordingly, dress warm if it's cold. Even when you think it's not that cold, bring extra layers. Especially in the winter, autumn and winter, even in the spring, I found that I have hand warmers, and I even put them in my shoes if I have to. Like the ones that when you open, they get nice and toasty and warm. They really help save your toes. Get warm boots on as well in the winter. It can get really, really cold, especially here in the UK. Although the UK is not that cold, but it can get very cold when you're standing there. It's not like you're walking up and down the whole time, so you can get very cold, and especially when it rains as well. The cold does get to you. So I always, in the winter, I always have I have thermals on, thermals under my trousers. I've got my trousers, thermal socks, boots. I've got those heating things. I have I should really get a thermal shirt. I always got 2 coats with me, and a scarf, obviously, a hat. Yeah, it's good to be warm, so you that way you're not miserable, and you can just keep being cheery to the customers and have a nice chat rather than feel miserable, and because it does make you sell less, I think, if you're not as inviting to come to. Yeah. And another thing, and I really say that at so many markets, do not pack up early. I don't know why people do that. I make a lot of money in the last half an hour. It's just even the last 5 minutes, people still come to me. Probably also because they can't come to the other stores because they're all gone. I'm still there. And I think it's very unprofessional to pack up early, especially when it actually when you sign up, it does tell you that you cannot pack up before a certain time, and most people do. Like an hour before people start packing up. There's always such a rush to go, but unless you've got somewhere else to have another market, that last half an hour or an hour, it can make you a lot of money still. People do still show up. Yeah, so I definitely recommend just staying until the last time, maybe the last half an hour, pack a few tiny things up, but leave your products out there, leave your signs. I always have just a chat with the other market stall holders. It's quite nice to have a little chat. I do not pack up. And I enjoy it there anyway. It's nice to be outside and get to know other people and have a nice chat. Yeah. And don't forget your food. Yeah, definitely do pack a lunch with you, even if you're thinking about buying something there. Unless you're not by yourself, because I'm always most often by myself. I do not have the time to go out and buy something, and I just feel miserable if I don't have any food. So I always pack just a quick lunch, simple lunch, some snacks and things. I definitely like some snacks and chocolate. So yeah, definitely pack some. It's really nice when you do get the time to have a walk around and buy some food, but be prepared that sometimes it can get very, very busy, that you do have some food that you can quickly eat in between, because that just keeps you going. And drinks. And of course, do always greet everyone. Definitely just, sometimes you can read that people are just a bit shy, just give them a nod, just make eye contact and show them that you are there for them if they need any help. For other people that you can read, you kind of can read people that they do want to be talked to a bit more, so do have a general chat or just about your products. I often have some people that just come by and make some jokes, and I just joke with them, and sometimes they buy stuff, sometimes they don't. Just be, I'm not the most bubbliest person, so for me it is quite hard to have this whole sales pitch that comes natural to a lot of others. That's definitely not me. I'm quite introvert, that I'm quite shy. I find it quite hard sometimes to say hi, and sometimes when you put yourself out there, people just don't say anything back. I try to gauge people of how I like to be treated, because myself, I don't really like going into stores or stores where I feel watched, so I try not to do that too much, but do engage with them at the same time. It's quite tricky really to know what is wanted and what is not, but yeah, I suppose you learn on the go. I do feel that when I acknowledge people, sometimes have a chat, that I sell better. So when I cannot talk to them as much, when I don't engage as much because they're just having a bit of an off day, I do sell less as well. So do try to engage. But for some people it's quite tricky as well, because some have come into your gazebo and they just have their face down the whole time, and they just go in the loop and they just go out again. But I suppose they weren't there to buy anything anyway. It's always a bit tricky really. So I hope this was any useful to you. If you have any tips yourself, please let me know in the comments as well. I wonder, I probably missed out on some points, I'm not sure, but these things that just came to me that I wanted to share. Yeah, so I really enjoy doing the markets. It's a lot of work and time to keep setting everything up every weekend, and dragging my kids as well. One of them is a teenager, but just probably not always too keen to come, but yeah, she's doing really good, and waking up early, which is probably not the favourite thing in the weekend. Yeah, so I really enjoy the personal contact. I definitely still struggle with the social media thing. I could use tips for that, to be honest. The market site is doing good, it's just the social media. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you learned anything from it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any tips yourself. That'd be really cool and really appreciated. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.